as when you're trying to process and memorize the numbers, tends to be more left brain. Lists of things, being logical. What sort of job would somebody have if they used these functions? They relied heavily on these functions. Lawyer? Somebody good with figures, analysis, breaking it down, the bottom line, numbers. Accountancy, yes. And the right brain functions are more to do with what?
Creativity.
Yes, I'm putting these down fairly quickly. Tony was talking about daydreaming. But they're not splendidly isolated. Either hemisphere can take on all these functions. In general, there was a great book by Ian McGilchrist called The Master of His Hemisphere, talking about left and right brains, as the right brain looks at the bigger picture and the left looks at the detail. And Professor Stephen Rose at the Open University has studied the brains of chickens. He found that they use one eye, which goes to one side of the brain, the left brain, to look at the detail, the grain, the food, feeding the system, and its brain thinks it's the most important. And the other eye would look around for past is new, other areas where they like to get more food, also danger. So its hemisphere thought it's the most important. They work beautifully together. So the important thing is to use all these functions. Doesn't matter where they come from. Generally, the left is to do with language development, mathematical learning. The right is more intuitive, spatial. Now, which way is the girl spinning? If you think she is spinning anti-clockwise, raise your hand. Anti-clockwise. Quite a few of you. If you think she's going clockwise, raise your hand. Far more of you. How many of you have seen her change direction? Almost half of you. How many of you cannot see her change direction at all? Can any of you make her do this, not actually spin, but just go with one leg left to right? You can. Well, we know it's nonsense whether you're using the right or left brain for this, but we do know there's a switch in the right parietal lobe which enables you to imagine her turning the other way. This is just a boring computer program. So it's that flexibility is very important when it comes to memory. All right. So the three keys for driving a superb Ferrari memory are, as Tony mentioned, association. That's the mechanism by which memory works. If I say key, you think of door. If I see, say, rabbit, you think of carrot, etc., etc. Imagination is the fuel of it, something you have an abundance of life. It's limitless. And location is the map of memory, the place where you store and retrieve the information. You'll know where to put it, so you can retrieve it later on, which is what I've done with that number. It's still in my head. Association. So what is that? Strawberry. But it's more than just strawberry. What does it mean to you? What do you associate? Infinite amount of information. It's not, your brain is not a computer or a dictionary. It doesn't say any of various low-growing plants to genus Gregaria having white flowers as an aggregate synthesis small. That's not how your brain works. It thinks, as Tony was saying, radiantly, like a monkey. Lots of information comes into your head. We're bombarded with memories, associations, such as, for me, Wimbledon, traditional to have strawberries and cream. A field somewhere where you have pick your own strawberries. By the way, this is not a mind map. Tony wrapped my knuckles earlier and said you can't have all one word. Yogurt, the kind of food, obviously, strawberries and cream, summertime. And in turn, all these branches lead me on to somewhere else. So that is association. This brings us to the simplest of systems called the link system. So we'll go through that list very carefully again. First four words, hand, butter, magnet, bill. I want you to imagine your hand now dipping into some soft sticky butter, and imagine pulling out a little magnet that's dripping with the butter, and it pulls you mysteriously towards a book. Now that sounds rather silly. But we have to make it logical. Why is it being attracted? Maybe it's metallic. Try to make it real. We take that away. What are the 4 words?
Paper.
And butter. And book. Now show off like I did and go backwards. Book. Butter. Hand. But the difference this time is you're now thinking with images and associations. How long will that information stay in your head? A lot longer. You've been using your working. Let's progress with this method. So imagine I have a piece of paper and I throw it at an imaginary window just over there. On the other side of the window is a little snail crawling merrily along, and it's traumatized by the paper hitting the window. And it falls down and lands on your car. Imagine your car, the snail lands on it, parked outside. On the back seat of your car is a lovely new acoustic guitar. Instant associations, thoughts. Why is the guitar on the back seat of your car? Maybe it's your son's birthday, or your daughter, or it's a present. You're learning the guitar. It doesn't really matter. Try to make it real. You play a tune on the guitar that reminds you of home. So what tune would that make? Could that be? Home Sweet Home. Sweet Home Alabama. Whatever it is. You start playing the guitar, it reminds you of home, you get rather nostalgic, and you decide to phone home. You phone with your mobile. So let's move that away now. What are the words? Paper, window, snail, car,
Guitar. Home. Phone.
Backwards.
Phone, guitar, car,
Snail. Window. Paper.
Very good. There they all are. Imagery, association, and you're starting to introduce a bit of location now. We're using this auditorium, or part of it, in an imaginary sense. So you could easily have then done the rest of them, 9 of the objects. So give me the first 11 now of that sequence.
Hand. Butter. Magnet. Book. Paper. Snail. Car. Guitar. Phone.
Backwards.
phone, guitar,
Car. Snail. Window. Paper. Book. Magnet. Butter. Hand.
Round of applause. Now, how long is that information going to stay in your memory, your long-term memory? You will be cursing me tomorrow morning because you'll be going through that useless information. But imagine if it wasn't so useless. Imagine they were codes for something important. It could be 20 topics of a speech or a presentation that you have to give. And now you begin to see that maybe Dominic is not so clever. What I did with these numbers was I broke them into sections of 4 digits at a time. So I needed 13 locations, 4 times 12 plus the other 2. That's all I needed to store that information. Now you would use this technique for memorizing speeches, memorizing names, using associations. Tony talked also about information overload. We get through a lot of information, we have to process it. I was very pleased to see today that this event has been advertised. This is the Kalish Times, Tony and I. On page 21, I believe. And Manish, can I give you these papers? But Tony alerted me to this. I had a quick flick through the paper. And I just noticed other information as I was reading through. And that is today's paper, obviously. There are 34 pages including the business section. What I try to do is just pick out something from each page. So if someone would like to call out a page between 1 and 34, raise your hand. Yes. Shout it out.
21.
21, well that is the page that we're on, where we're advertised. Is that right? 21 is the first page. So I need another one. Yes. Page 16. If you look at page 16, and that's a very good page number, rather poignant, because there is a report coming from Pakistan about the number of children that do not go to school. Is that correct? And the figure is, I think it's 24 million. Is that correct? Yes? Another yes. 15. 15. Now, I think this involves Indian politics, is that right? There is a politician called Mayawati. The caption is Mayawati dubs Irani anti-Dalit. Okay, one more. Number 5, page 5. And this is an advert, I think, for a tender. Invitation to tender, does it say? You sure? And there's a little code there. Give me the first 2 letters of the code. DM. Yeah, and then there's a number, isn't there? Is it 145251? Is that correct? If you just like to go to the business section of the paper and look at the stock market, it's on page 28. Page 28, yes. In slightly, I think it's short name of the market. It starts with Arabic Airways, something like that. Yeah. I will try and tell you what the price change is, if it's gone up or down and by how much. So you give me any of those stocks. DU, it didn't go up. It was a plus. You go to the second column, it says plus 0.01. Is that correct? Okay. You give me one more. What is it called? Sure Capital went up 0.03. Great. Okay, you get the picture. I'm using exactly the same technique. Little demonstration. I'm going to put you to the test. I'm going to read this magazine, which I picked up. It's an English magazine. It says Waitrose Food Illustrated. Page 1 says Sweet Harmony, pictures of strawberries is brilliant, coincidentally. Page 2, advert for Muller, Little Stars, little baby there. Page 3, the editor's letter is called William Sitwell. He talks about having this thing about music. When I hear something I like, I go mad for it and listen to it forever. Page 4 is an advert for tea, sugar, the sweetest smile, take a mile. Page 5, the opera singer Andrea Bocelli. Page 6 is an advertisement for crushed mango. There's a barcode there, 9914960. And page 7, the coupons here, one of them is for a rich Italian, 30 pence. Page 8, we'll just do a couple more, win 6 bottles of champagne. Page 9, John Frieda collection, hairspray, things. And finally, page 10 is an advert for a car. It's called the Suzuki Splash from £8,999. What was on page 4? No? Okay, what was on page 6? Yes? It was an advertisement, yes? It was mango, yeah. Alright, now, only 1 or 2 of you were getting this. Because the more I read, the more it became confusing, information overload, because you weren't able to store it, or maybe you weren't protecting it. If I made it really simple for you, by using the journey here, so I want you to imagine that page 1 is going to be the entrance to this auditorium. So imagine walking through there, page 1, stage 1, stage 2 is going to be here, where this banner is. Stage 3, something's going to be happening here at the podium. Stage 4, something's going to be happening on the screen. Now 5, I'm going to put my hand out here with 5 fingers, the 4 fingers of the thumb, so you know this is the 5th stage. Stage 6, something's going to be happening by those flowers, the steps down. 7, where you are, madam. And stage 8, we'll just do 8, where Tony is over here. Tony was out. Where is stage 5? So therefore, where is stage 3? Podium. Stage 1 we know is the door. 2, 3, 4, 5. Where is stage 6?
Flowers.
Step 7?
Steps.
Lane. Stage 8, Tony. So we know our journey. We can lay down information very easily. So I want you to imagine each page connected with each stage of the journey. We'll do this very quickly. So imagine now, Sweet Harmony is the advert, Strawberries and Cream. Why would they be coming into the room? Sweet Harmony, Strawberries and Cream. To feed us. We're starting to get hungry. It's reaching that time, isn't it? So they're bringing us in some little delights there. Stage 2 is this advert, the little stars. Mullah. Somehow we need to make a connection here. So how would you remember little stars? Maybe have little stars on this banner. Mullah, have a little baby with a wooden spoon, with a cot over here. Stage 3, this is the editor's choice. So maybe the editor is talking about his love for music. I have this thing about music when I hear it. He's talking to you about it. His name is William Sixwell. How can you remember Sixwell?
Shakespeare.
Maybe he's sitting on top of a well, drilled into the ground, or he's sitting very well. His name is William. How would you remember William? All these ideas come into your head. Stage 4, over here, is the advert for Tate and Lyle. Tea, sugar, Tate and Lyle. How can you remember Tate and Lyle? Is it familiar to you, by the way? You know the brand. But maybe I'm marketing for them, talking all about the wonders of Tate and Lyle sugar. Stage 5 is Andrea Bocelli, and actually is leaning against the wall with a glass of red wine, so that's easy to remember. Andrea Bocelli, the opera singer. Stage 6, this is the Alfonso Mango Crush. So maybe I've tripped down the steps and I've been crushed by all these bottles of orange juice, mango, crush. The barcode is 9914. You may just remember that. Stage 7, this lady here, is an advert for a coupon for a rich Italian coffee. How can you connect this lady with a rich Italian? By using your imagination. The price is 30 pence. Finally, with Mr. Guzan, there's an advert that says, win 6 bottles of champagne. I'll let you do the imagining. Right. What is on page 4?
Tate.
What? Yes, very good. Take a line. What is on page 2?
Stars.
What's it called? Little
Stars and baby.
Anything else?
Mullah.
Baby and the Coca-Cola. Stage 3.
Editor and William.
And example. Let's go from the start. First page.
Ham.
Stage 2.
Star.
Stage 3.
William.
Stage 4.
Sugar.
Stage 5.
Wine.
And cherry 6.
Juice.
And barcode.
9 and 1 4.
Amazing, you remember that. Stage 7.
Italian coffee. 30 pence.
Rich Italian, yes. 30 pence. What do we connect with page 8?
Champagne. 6 bottles.
Lewis champagne. Very good. The important thing about that is that once we have a location, we can store an enormous amount of information. In fact, I could probably store the Russian Revolution in this auditorium because I can go into detail, tiny little details. Even this table, going to manufacture, I can go back to the factory and create a journey around there. So the location preserves the order of the information. This is something the Greeks realized 2,000 years ago. Now we think, with this new book coming out called The Memory Code, that possibly the same techniques we use to store information for prehistoric man, the Neolithic man, as a survival tool. Now, Manish, how much time do I have? Are we nearly there?
Sir, it is 83 for guy in Pakistan.
Okay.
83 for guy in Pakistan. Sorry, sir.
So, the Greeks realized this was a very powerful method because they were living in an age of no paper. It was an oral tradition. The journey. Now, this brings us to numbers. How do I remember these numbers? Well, I call it the language of numbers.